Captain Velter stood upon the bridge of his warship, gazing out at the endless stars. His vessel was colossal, stretching 3,000 meters in length, bristling with enough firepower to reduce a small moon to rubble. Around him, 11 identical ships drifted in formation, each one a testament to the might of the Xerian Empire. Together, they were unstoppable. No force in the galaxy could oppose them. Today's mission was meant to be effortless. The Galactic Council had ordered them to investigate a fledgling race called humans. These beings resided on a small blue world at the galaxy's rim, barely beginning to explore the stars. Their largest ships were smaller than Xerian shuttles. Sir, said his second-in-command, Officer Crix, we've monitored these humans for 3 years now. They lack advancement. Their weapons rely on outdated chemical propellants. Their ships are forged from crude metals. They should pose no challenge. Velter nodded. He had studied every report. Humans resembled most young species, warlike, quarrelsome, aggressive, yet frail. Their technology lagged millennia behind the Xerian Empire. And yet, the humans had requested a meeting. They sought entry into the Galactic Council. The thought was almost comical. These primitives believed themselves worthy to sit beside the galaxy's great powers. They wanted to present their fleet as proof of readiness. How many ships are they sending? Velter asked. Just one, sir, Crix answered. Scans show a single vessel, roughly 800 meters in length, tiny compared to our dreadnoughts. Velter nearly pitied them. The Council always played this game with emerging species. A grand fleet would arrive to overwhelm the newcomers. Then a choice would be offered: join as a lesser member or be annihilated. The majority accepted. The wise always did. The meeting site was chosen in an asteroid belt neutral ground, equidistant from human space and the nearest Xerian outpost. Velter's fleet would arrive first, displaying unmatched power. The humans would behold 12 colossal warships and be reminded of their place in the order of things. All ships ready for hyperspace jump, he commanded. The void around his fleet began to space-it and warped, folding in on itself. Then, with a blinding flash, the fleet emerged. Before them stretched the asteroid belt, massive rocks drifting lazily in the void. And there, waiting in the shadows, was the human ship. Velter fixed his gaze on it through the main viewer. It was a dark silhouette against the stars, its hull smooth, black, and seamless, no visible weapons. No shield arrays, no vast engine clusters like those on Xerian warships. At first glance, it resembled nothing more than a cargo hauler. Begin scanning, he commanded. His science officer, Kixno, bent over her console. She was among the finest operators in the fleet. If anyone could uncover the truth, it was her. Minutes passed before she spoke, her voice uneasy. Sir, these readings are strange. Velter's brows furrowed. Explain. The hull is composed of material unknown to our databases. Far denser than our armor, and its energy output is minimal. It isn't reflecting scans, it's absorbing them. That was troubling. Normally, ships registered clearly. This vessel barely appeared at all. Weapons? Velter asked. None detectable. No plasma batteries, no missile bays, no energy projectors. It resembles a non-combat vessel. Velter exhaled, tension easing. Perhaps the humans had chosen to send a civilian craft, avoiding provocation. That would make things simple. He could issue the usual terms of surrender without shedding blood. A communication channel opened, but before he spoke, movement caught his attention. The human vessel was shifting, not advancing, not retreating, but rotating slowly on its axis. Sir, Kixno warned, her tone sharp. The ship is changing. As it turned, hidden details came into view. What had seemed smooth was covered in subtle seams and layered panel sections designed to open. Velter's eyes narrowed. Those look like weapon ports. The ship continued to roll, revealing more and more. What had seemed harmless was beginning to resemble something far deadlier. "Run a full structural scan," he snapped. "I'm trying, sir, but the hull resists our systems. It's as if it was built to conceal itself from scanners." The vessel finished its rotation, and markings etched into the hull finally became clear. The translator displayed the words across his screen, 3 human terms. "Uses consequences." An odd name, Velter thought. In Xerian culture, ships were named for beauty. Flowers, songs, wonders of nature. But consequences, that name sounded less like poetry and more like a warning. "Sir," the weapons officer called sharply. "Movement detected on the human ship." "The hull is shifting." Velter turned, unease rising. Before his eyes, the vessel began to unfold. Smooth panels slid apart. Massive sections retracted like petals peeling back from a flower, and beneath the facade lay the truth. Gigantic. Cannons emerged from hidden compartments, thick, brutal barrels built to hurl devastating rounds at unthinkable speeds. From other bays, missile pods deployed in silent precision. Dozens of smaller mounts rotated into position, automated turrets, tracking and locking with cold intent. "By the 7 moons, Crix whispered, voice trembling. "That is no transport." The human ship was transforming. What had seemed harmless was becoming a fortress of war. And still it shifted, still more weapons revealed. "Sir," Kixno reported, her voice tight. "Energy levels are surging. These readings are beyond anything I've ever recorded." The vessel concealed its power until now. More weaponry blossomed across its frame, lances of energy glowing with restrained fury. Railguns calibrated to fire at fractions of light speed. Torpedo silos yawning open, the kind capable of unleashing warheads designed to shatter worlds. Velter's throat tightened. "How many systems?" he demanded. "Over 200, sir," Kixnell answered. "And that's only what is visible. There may be more buried deeper." Velter felt his gut twist. His dreadnought carried 50 weapons, a symbol of dominance in the Empire's fleet. This human vessel bore 4 times that, and every one of them radiated a sophistication far beyond Xerian design. "Captain," the communications officer cut in, voice urgent. "We are receiving a transmission from the human ship." "Put it on screen." Thieview screen flickered. The face that appeared was unlike anything he'd seen before. The human wassailed, with short gray hair and scars on his face. His eyes were hard and cold. This was someone who had seen many battles and won them all. "I am Admiral Chun of the United Earth Space Command," the human said. His voice was calm and steady. "I assume you are here for our membership evaluation." Tar tried to find his voice. "Your ship appears to be more advanced than our intelligence," suggested. Admiral Chen smiled. It was not a friendly expression. "The consequences is a retribution class. Heavy cruiser." She eyed her diplomatic ship. Diplomatic? Could not hide his confusion. This was the most heavily armed vessel he had ever encountered. How could they call it diplomatic in human space? "Admiral, diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy while you look for a bigger stick." Chun paused. "The consequences is a very big stick." Tar looked at his tactical display. His weapons officer was frantically updating threat assessments. The human ship could destroy his entire fleet. Its armor could withstand direct hits from plasma cannons. Its weapons could punch through energy shields like they were made of paper. "How many ships like this do you have?" Tar asked. He dreaded the answer. Admiral Chun's smile grew wider. "That is classified, Captain. But I will say this, every species we have encountered so far has asked that same question." Tar felt a chill run down his spine. The humans had encountered other species, and judging by Admiral Chen's confidence, those encounters had gone well for humanity. "We were told Thathamans were a primitive species." Velter said, "We were." Chun replied, "A 100 years ago, we were fighting each other with swords and spears. But we learned fast, and we have always been very good at war. On the tactical display, more information was coming in. The human ship's missile systems alone could destroy half his fleet. Its main guns could punch holes through a planet. And according to the scans, this was just a single ship. Your vessel seems designate for destruction, Velter observed. Yes, Chun said simply. We build our ships to end fights quickly. We have learned that the best way to prevent war is to be so dangerous that no one wants to fight you. Tar was beginning to understand. The humans had not sent a primitive transport to beg for membership. They had sent a warning. This ship was a demonstration of human power, a message to the galaxy that humanity was not weak. We should begin the evaluation, Chun said, unless you would prefer to withdraw. Velter looked at his fleet. 12 dreadnoughts that had been the pride of the Zepyrian Empire, ships that had conquered dozens of worlds. Ships that now looked small and weak compared to the human vessel floating before them. No, he said finally. We will proceed with the evaluation. Chun nodded. Good, shall we begin? With a demonstration of defensive capabilities? Before could answer, the human ship's point defense systems came online. Hundreds of small turrets emerged from the hull. They moved with incredible speed and precision, tracking imaginary targets. The targeting computers painted ships with laser designators. The message was clear. The consequences could destroy his entire fleet in minutes. Impressive, managed to say. That is just the beginning, Chun replied. Would you like to see our offensive capabilities? Tar was not sure he did, but he nodded anyway. He had to know what humanity was capable of. The galaxy need. Absorbed by armor. But a tungsten rod moving at 30% of light speed cannot be stopped by anything except direct impact with a target. Tar felt his blood run cold. 30% of light speed. The kinetic energy of such a projectile would be enormous. No shield could stop it. No more could absorb it. Your main guns fire solid projectiles at relativistic speeds. Our main guns, yes, but we have other weapons as well. Would you like a demonstration? Before Velter could answer, the consequences rotated to face another asteroid. This one was smaller than the first, only a few hundred meters across. Admiral Chun spoke a single word into his communicator. Swarm, dozens of missiles, launched from hidden ports on the human ship. But these were not normal missiles. As they flew toward the asteroid, each one split into smaller projectiles. Those split again and again. What had started as dozens of missiles became hundreds, then thousands of smaller warheads. The swarm of micro-missiles reached the asteroid and began impacting the surface. Each explosion was small, but there were so many of them. Within seconds, the entire rock was being torn apart from within. The asteroid collapsed into rubble. Then the rubble was pulverized into dust. Cluster munitions, Chun explained. Each missile carries 50 submunitions. Each submunition carries 10 micro-warheads, very effective against large targets. Belter watched the cloud of dust that had once been solid rock. How many of those missiles do you carry? Classified. Chun replied, but I will say this. We have enough ammunition to fight a sustained battle for several weeks without resupply. Several weeks, Velter's ships carried enough ammunition for perhaps 6 hours of combat. After that, they would need to return to base to rearm. The human ship could fight for weeks without support. Your range? Velter asked. Our kinetic weapons are effective at distances up to half a light year, Chun said casually. Our missile system shave no practical range limit. Velter nearly fell out of his command chair. Half a light year. That was further than most ships could travel in hyperspace before needing to stop and recalculate their position. The humans could engage targets from distances so great that the enemy would not even know they were under attack. That is impossible, Kixno whispered. No targeting system can be accurate at such ranges. Ours can, Chun said. We use a combination of predictive algorithms and real-time data from scout drones. Our targeting computers can calculate the position of a moving target up to 6 months in advance. 6 months. The humans could fire at a target and hit it half a year later, compensating for all the movement and course changes the target might make in that time. Your technology, said slowly, is far more advanced than we're told. We are good at hiding our capabilities, Chun agreed. Most species see what we want them to see. Primitive chemical rockets, simple metal hulls, basic radio communications. They assume we are backwards and weak, but you are not. No, Captain, we are not. Velter looked at his fleet. 12 of the most powerful warships in known space. Ships that had conquered star systems and destroyed entire civilizations. But compared to this single human vessel, they were nothing. Toys, relics of a more primitive age. How long have you been spacefaring? He asked. We achieved faster than light traveled 200 years ago, Chun replied. Before that, we spent 300 years developing our technology within our own star system. 500 years. That was nothing compared to the millennia the Zephyrian Empire had been traveling between stars. Yet, in that short time, humans had developed technology that surpassed anything the galaxy had ever seen. You learn quickly, Velter observed. We had to, Chun said, and for the first time, his expression grew serious. Our home system is surrounded by hostile territory. When we first achieved interstellar travel, we encountered 17 different species. 16 of them tried to conquer or destroy us. And the 17th, they became our allies. After seeing what happened to the other 16, felt a chill run down his spine. The humans had fought 16 different species and won. No wonder their ships were so heavily armed. No wonder their technology was so advanced. They had been forced to become the galaxy's apex predators just to survive. The species you fought, said carefully. What happened to them? Some learned to respect human territory and sign peace treaties. Others continued to be aggressive and had to be dealt with permanently. Tar understood what that meant. Some species no longer existed because they had underestimated humanity. We are not conquerors, Captain Chun continued. We do not seek to rule over other species. We simply want to be left alone. But we have learned that the only way to ensure peace is to be so powerful that no one dares disturb it. The communication was interrupted by an alarm from Velter's sensor station. Kixno was staring at her displays in shock. Sir, she called out. I am detecting multiple hyperspace signatures. Something big is coming. Admiral Chun checked his own displays. Right. On time. What is coming? Velter demanded. The rest of the diplomatic mission, Chun replied calmly. Space began to twist and bend around them. Reality folded as massive objects emerged from hyperspace. One ship appeared, then another, then a dozen more. Velter stared in horror as a human fleet materialized around them. Each ship was different in design, but all were clearly built for war. Some were long and sleek, bristling with missile tubes. Others were broad and heavy, covered in armor plating and gun turrets. A few were strange angular shapes that hurt to look at, their hull seeming to bend light around them. How many ships? He whispered. 47, Chen replied. This is Battle Group 7, a standard diplomatic escort. A diplomat escort. 47 ships that could probably destroy every fleet in the galaxy. And the humans called it a standard escort. Sir, Kixnall reported, her voice barrel-like controlled. I am reading over 3,000 separate weapon systems. The combinatory power of that fleet could sterilize a planet. Actually, Chen corrected, we could sterilize several planets, but we prefer not to. Environmental decryptors wasteful. One of the new ships was moving closer. It was enormous, easily twice the size of Dreadnought. As it approached, sections of its hull began to open, revealing weapons that made the consequences look lightly armed. That is the U.S. reckoning, Chun explained. Our flagship, she mounts our latest generation of planet cracker weapons. Planet cracker weapons. Designed to destroy planets from orbit. We developed them after encountering a species that hid their military installations underground. Rather than waste time with orbital bombardment, we found it more efficiento simply crack the planet open and examine the core. Tar could not speak. The humans had weapons that could destroy entire worlds, not just life on the surface, but the actual physical planet. They could crack a world like an egg and examine its contents. Why? Heffinally managed to ask. Why build such terrible weapons? Because sometimes terrible problems require terrible solutions. Chun replied. 3 years ago, we encountered a species called the Devourers. They consumed all organic matter on the planets they conquered. They could not be reasoned with. They could not be stopped by conventional weapons. So we developed Hedencontin weapons. What happened to the Devourers? They are extinct, Chun said simply. Wake wrecked their home world and destroyed their entire civilization in a single day. It was the only way to stop them from consuming more. Innocent species. The human fleet was now fully deployed around them. Tar's 12 dreadnoughts were completely surrounded by ships that could destroy them with ease. But the humans made no threatening moves. They simply waited, their weapons powered, but not targeted. This is a very large escort for a diplomatic mission, Velter observed. We have learned that diplomacy works better when backed by overwhelming force, Chen replied. Most species are more willing to negotiate when they understand the consequences of refusing, consequences like the name of Chen ship. Tar was beginning to understand human thinking. They did not threaten, they did not bluster. They simply demonstrated what would happen if negotiations failed. Your species, Velter said slowly, approaches diplomacy unlike any other. We approach everything unlike any other species, Chen replied. We have to. We are surrounded by enemies. We are outnumbered 1,000,000 to 1. The only reason we survive is because we are more dangerous than anything else in the galaxy. More dangerous than anything else in the galaxy. Tar looked at the human fleet surrounding his ships. 47 vessels, each own a masterpiece of destructive engineering. Ships that could fight for weeks without resupply. Weapons that could destroy planets. Armor that could absorb the full power of a star. Wes'll begin the formal evaluation, Chun said. Unless you have seen enough. Tar looked at his crew. They were all staring at the human ships with expressions of fear and awe. These were veteran soldiers who had fought in dozens of battles, but they had never seen anything like this. We have seen it now, said quietly. Good, Chun replied. Then let us discuss terms for human membership in the Galactic Council. Terms, not requests, not applications. Terms. The humans were not asking to join the council. They were telling the galaxy what their membership would look like. Realized that everything had changed. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted in a single moment. Humanity had just announced that they were no longer the weak, primitive species everyone thought they were. They were something much more dangerous. The formal evaluation continued for 6 more hours. During that time, Velter witnessed demonstrations of technology that challenged everything he thought he knew about warfare, the human flair. Watched in amazement as the defensive systems responded. Point defense turrets tracked and destroyed incoming missiles with incredible accuracy. Some ships launched counter-missiles that intercepted attacks far from their targets. Others used energy weapons to detonate warheads before they could reach their destination. A few vessels deployed clouds of metallic chaff that confused guidance systems and caused missiles to miss entirely. Success rate, Chun asked his tactical officer. 96% interception, sir. The remaining 4% were stopped by armor. 96%. Velter's best. Defense systems could stop perhaps 60% of incoming missiles, and that was against known weapon types. The-human systems had stopped nearly everything thrown at them. How many attacks can you defend against Simulinis? Tar asked. We have never found our limit, Chun replied. Our record is defending against over 10,000 incoming missiles in a single engagement. 10,000 missiles. Velter's entire fleet could not carry that many weapons. The humans had faced attacks that would overwhelm any known defense system and survived. The species that attacked you with 10,000 missiles said carefully. What happened to them? They learned not to attack human ships, Chun said. His tone suggested the lesson had been expensive. The next test involved offensive capabilities. The human fleet selected a large asteroid as their target. This one was several kilometers across and made of dense metallic ore. It would take entire fleet working together to destroy such a massive object. Demonstrate your ability to engage a hardened target, requested. Certainly, Chun replied. What level of destruction would you like to see? What levels are available? We can disable the target. Damage it severely, destroy it completely, or vaporize it entirely. 4 levels of destruction. Most weapons had only 2 settings, on and off. The humans apparently had fine control over exactly how much damage they inflicted. Show us complete destruction, Velter decided. Admiral Chun spoke into his communicator. All ships, target the asteroid. Coordinated Bard, Level 3 destruction. The human fleet opened fire, but it wasn't the chaotic barrage expected. Instead, each ship fired in carefully timed sequence. Kinetic rounds struck the asteroid first, cracking its structure. Energy. Beams followed, hitting the cracks until they widened. Missiles impacted next, their explosions driving wedges deep into the fractures. The asteroid held together for nearly 30 seconds. Then it came apart all at once, breaking into thousands of pieces that scattered in all directions. But the human fleet was not finished. Secondary weapons engaged, tracking and destroying the larger fragments. Within minutes, nothing remained but a cloud of dust and metal particles. Impressive coordination, observed. Each ship's targeting computer is linked to the others. Shun explained. They calculate the most efficient firing sequence automatically. No human input required. Automated battle management. The human ships could coordinate their attacks without any orders from their commanders. They thought and fought as a single entity while maintaining the independence to adapt to changing situations. Your computers are very advanced, Velter said. We have been developing artificial intelligence for over a century. Chun replied. Our battle computers can process information and make decisions faster than any biological mind. Artificial intelligence. Most species avoided such technology, thinking machines were dangerous. They could turn against their creators, but the humans seem to have mastered the art of building loyal artificial minds. Are you not concerned that your machines might rebel? Our AIs are not slaves, Chun said. They are partners. We treat them with respect and they serve willingly. Some of our best ship commanders are artificial intelligences, AI ship commanders. Velter tried to imagine a battle computer with the authority to make command decisions. The idea was terrifying and fascinating at the same time. The evaluation moved to the next phase, mobility and speed. The human ships began to demonstrate their movement capabilities, and once again, they defied conventional understanding. Our hyperspace drives, Chun began, operate on principles different from yours. How so? Most species create a bubble of folded space around their ships. They travel through hyperspace like submarines moving underwater. Our drives work differently. One of the human ships vanished. Not slowly like a normal hyperspace jump. It simply disappeared instantly, leaving no energy signature or gravitational disturbance. Where did it go? Velter demanded. Nowhere, Chun replied. It is still here. The ship reappeared suddenly in a completely different position. It had moved several thousand km in the blink of an eye. Micro jumps, Chun explained. Our drives can fold space in very small increments. We can appear to teleport across short distances without entering hyperspace. Teleportation. The human ships could disappear and reappear at will. No weapon could target them effectively if they could vanish between 1 second and the next. Range? Velter asked weakly. Within a star system unlimited. Our drives can microjump continuously without any cooling period or energy buildup. Unlimited. Range teleportation. The human ships could appear anywhere in a star system instantly. They could attack from any direction, disappear before return fire could reach them, and reappear somewhere else to attack again. This technology, said, it gives you an enormous tactical advantage. Yes, Chun agreed. It also makes us very difficult to blockade or trap. Any human ship can escape from any situation simply by jumping away. More ships began demonstrating the micro jump technology. They flickered in and out of existence like ghosts. One moment they were in formation, the next they were scattered across the asteroid field. Then they were back in formation as if they had never moved. Training time, Velter asked. Our pilots begin practicing microjumps as soon as they learn to fly, Chun replied. By the time they graduate to combat ships, they can perform jumps as naturally as turning or accelerating. Every human pilot waist-trained in teleportation combat. Velter imagined trying to fight an enemy that could appear and disappear at will. It would be like fighting shadows. The final test was perhaps the most disturbing. The human fleet demonstrateur. Intelligence gathering capabilities. Within minutes, they had scanned every ship in Velter's fleet. They knew the armor thickness, weapon loadouts, crew complement, and energy reserves of every Zephyrian vessel. How? Velter asked. Passive scanning, Chun explained. Our sensors can analyze the gravitational fields, electromagnetic emissions, and subspace distortions created by your ships. We can determine internal structure without sending active scanner beams. They had been scanned without knowing it. The human had complete intelligence on his fleet while keeping their own capabilities hidden. It was like fighting blind against an enemy who could see everything. What else can your sensors detect? Life signs, emotional states, individual biometric patterns. We can identify specific crew members and track their movements throughout your ships. They could see inside his ships. They knew how many people were aboard, where they were located, even what they were feeling. Privacy was impossible against human sensors. Your technology, Velter said slowly, is far beyond anything we imagined possible. We had good teachers, Chun replied. Every species that tried to destroy us taught us something new. We learned from their weapons, their tactics, their mistakes. Each victory made us stronger. The humans had grown powerful by absorbing the knowledge of their enemies. Every battle had been a learning experience. Every defeated foe had contributed to human advancement. The species you encountered when you first reached the stars. Velter said, you said 16 of them tried to destroy you. What were they like? Chun's expression darkened. Predators, all of them. They saw a young species with primitive technology and thought we would be easy prey. They were wrong. What made you different? We refuse to be victims, Chun said simply. Most young species panic when faced with superior enemies. They try to hide or surrender or seek protection from stronger powers. We chose to fight against impossible odds. Yes, we were outnumbered, outgunned, and out-technologied. But we had one advantage our enemies did not expect. What advantage? We were willing to do anything to survive. Anything at all. The way Chun said those words made blood run cold. There was something dark in the Admiral's tone. Something that spoke of terrible decisions made in desperate times. The first species that attacked us were called the hegemony. Chun continued. They had conquered over 100 worlds. Their fleets were vast. Their technology was advanced. They thought humanity would surrender after the first battle. But you did not. No, we fought them on Earth, in space, on every world they tried to take. When conventional weapons failed, we developed new ones. When their shields stopped our missiles, we invented weapons that ignored shields. When their armor protected them. From our guns, we created projectiles that could punch through anything. How long did the war last? 12 years. In the end, the hegemony no longer existed. We had destroyed every ship, conquered every world, eliminated every trace of their civilization. Total extinction. The humans had not just defeated their enemies, they had razed them from existence. Was that necessary? Velter asked. They gave you no choice, Chun replied. The hegemony did not believe in surrender. They would have fought until every human was dead, so we ensured that every member of the hegemony died first. The asteroid field around them suddenly felt very cold. Velter was in the presence of a speciest had committed genocide to